Welcome back, or for the beginning. This is the Ask Brien radio show, ASKBRIEN on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. I hope everyone had a great holiday. We're back live, and just to let anybody know about Ask Brien, ASKBRIEN.com. It's the Ask Brien radio show, and every week we introduce a CEO or startup, somebody that's working on something new or something that in the past that can create value, teach you some business lesson so that somehow when you leave this show, you will have learned some knowledge, something about business that you did not know prior. And this is all an endeavor that came about through the Ask Brien website. And again, that's ASKBRIEN.com. Ask Brien website was created 2 years ago, and basically that allows people to ask questions. So a dry cleaner in South Carolina can ask a dry cleaner in Texas, hey, I have this dry cleaning issue, can you help me out? That's a community base. But then we have experts, and experts are basically vented through an approval process. Not everybody gets approved as an expert. To get approved, you have to go through a due diligence concept with the company, and part of that due diligence involves how much work experience you have and what you've accomplished. We want both. So basically, if you have at least 10,000 hours of working history combined with something that you've accomplished, because we want to make sure that the people that are experts have actually accomplished something. So if they're going to apply to be a salesperson, we want a salesperson not that worked 10,000 hours as a salesperson. We want somebody as 10,000 hours that have actually done something in the and accomplished the goal, maybe made $250,000 or something along those lines. We do not want to have somebody that just, oh my God, I'm a salesman, I've been working for 30 years. That doesn't necessarily. Experience is very important, but it's not the only thing. On the other end of the spectrum, just because you have been successful as a salesperson, you generally have not learned all the do's and don'ts about that. So that's why we have such a high criteria. Experts on the Ask Brien website are allowed to place videos, place their webinars on a webinar schedule if they have any webinars, ebooks, blogs. Basically, it's a forum for any expert to put all their information out so that people can see it, look into that company, find out information about that. And that's basically what Ask Brien is. That's ASKBRIEN.com. Now, we have a very great guest today, and my co-host, I'm not sure if he's around. Alex, are you there?
I am always here, Mr. Brien Johnson. How are you today?
Well, I didn't do my introduction because I didn't know that you were online. I figured, you found a better show like the Howard Stern show or something. I figured you just left me in the breeze, but that's okay. So now, without further ado, my wonderful co-host, Alex Grossman. Are you there? He is.
I am always here, even on the holidays, my friend. I hope everyone's having a happy holiday out there, getting a little time off and sitting back and listening to Ask Brien Radio.
Well, that's because you had you had all those reindeer that you were going through the clouds with and trying to find people, and that's why you're so busy. So this is actually a busy time of the year for Alex Grossman. We have a wonderful guest today. Sam, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here, Brian. Thanks so much for having me.
So Sam has a great website. I encourage everybody to check it out. Hopefully I'm going to do it correctly, but it's Blue, B-L-U-E, Collar, C-O-L-L-A-R, Scholars, S-C-H-O-L-A-R-S, .net. That's all one word. Don't just because I abbreviated and stopped each word and pause doesn't mean it's not one word. And this is a great site. We're going to get into that. But before we do, we have some background information that we'd like to get about Sam. So Sam, where are you right now? You're on the East Coast, correct?
Yep, I'm in Bethesda, Maryland, here on the East Coast.
And is that where you've lived your whole life, or did you just get there a couple years ago?
Yeah, no, I've lived here my whole life. I'm grateful my mom was able to travel with me. I've been to 46 states, but I do call Bethesda, Maryland, my home.
Well, now you just begged the question. So what 4 states have you not been to?
Alaska, Michigan, and I've been to Maine. So it's somewhere in the Midwest there, who I haven't. Other ones. I've been to Hawaii when I was 9 months old. So I've been there.
So you've been surfing since you're 9 months. So
yeah, no, surfing is hard. Surfing is hard.
Surfing is hard at any age. So we'll have to come back
Yeah.
on the commercial break. You tell us the two states that you're not in. That's a bit of trivia that everybody's going to want to know. Obviously, you're not in the car business because you're not in Michigan. My question, though, is Michigan has a lot of blue-collar people based on the fact that they have a car industry, and yet you never visited that state. So that's an interesting suggestion we'll have to get back to in a short bit. So did you go to college and start out in Maryland, or did you go somewhere else?
Yeah. I started out in Maryland. I'm not too much of a school guy. I like to question a lot of things, so I definitely dropped out eventually from school.
That's fine. A lot of people have dropped out of school and been quite successful. A guy named Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg come to mind. That's just a couple of people that I'm aware of. So
no idea who they are. But
Alex does, but I don't know. Alex is going to tell us who they are in a short bit. In fact, that's one of Alex's mentors is Bill Gates.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Thank you there, Brien Johnson. That was really nice of you.
That was sarcasm based on who we really worked for. So before you started BlueCollarScholars.net, what were you doing before then?
Yeah, I jumped around a lot. I went to college during the 2008-2009 recession, so lots of kids were going to school, but nobody was able to find jobs. So it just, to me, it didn't make sense to continue college. It just didn't make sense, So, and I was getting paid $50 an hour to coach soccer, and you can only do that a couple hours a week, but still, I was making okay money. I tried to start all these other ventures. I tried to start an app development company, and that's too long of a process to really start because I didn't have any money starting out. But eventually, I got fired. I just had this little job doing landscaping, made $12 an hour. Got fired because I'm pretty much a bad employee, and eventually went door to door. And eventually, someone wanted yard work, and then that's how I got this business going.
Wow. So basically, this is a rags to riches story. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we make some money. We make money, but yeah, not all about the money. But yeah, we make some money. Yeah.
Well, you got to make a living, right? Everybody has to make a living. Everyone has to do something in life. So,
well, yeah, and yeah, definitely, and I definitely think that you're either making money or you're losing money. There's no in between. So I really invest. Yes, I have some luxuries. I get to eat well now, but I try to invest everything back into the company.
So you gave up eating at the Sizzle and McDonald's, is that correct? Or
Yeah.
Is that your favorite restaurant still? All right.
Yeah.
So let's go a little further. How did this idea for Blue Collar Scholars? First of all, what is it?
Yes, great. It's a landscaping company. We do landscaping. We maintain grounds. We cut lawns. We trim bushes. We take out weeds. We throw down mulch to help prevent weeds. We do drainage. We do concrete work now. Basically, we take care of the whole outside of a property.
And is that local to a certain community within Maryland, or is that beyond your local community?
Yeah, right now. So I wanted to broaden out. The company's really only 3 years old, but I figured we really need to just target one area, and then build a system here, and then now we're looking to franchise or grow in different areas.
And so, did you create it yourself individually?
Yeah. This is my company. I started up with a bunch of other guys in the college age. I went door to door, man, and did all the work myself in the beginning. Then I learned that there's people who know way more than I do about the industry I'm in. So I learned that it's better to hire those people and let them do the work, and for me to just act as the sales guy and manager.
Well, that is a very, very big sales, very, very big point that you bring out, and that is, I was told by a VC once, what are you going to do with the money? And the answer that they're really looking for is hire people that are smarter than I am.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you've learned that on your own, without going to college, without doing all the other corporate America stuff, I find is a very, 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 very quick point that you've learned at a very, very young age. So is that why a website if you're just local?
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, we get, so I like to streamline things. I'm a very, very lazy guy, so I try to make things as where I don't have to do any work at all. So people book appointments online to set up estimates. So we don't have to answer phone calls. If people are interested, they book an estimate time. Someone at the company gets it and sends one of our sales guy out there to meet the person, and they do the sale.
The site is Blue Collar Scholars, right?
Yes.
So
Blue Collar Scholars. Yeah.
How did you come up with that name?
Yeah, definitely. So I was young when I started the company, and
you're still young.
Definitely, I'm 27. 28 years old. And it was in my earlier 20s when I came up with the idea. But definitely, I've always found you want to stand out. You never just want to be a regular Joe Schmo. So I always said, well, people would probably rather hire college students rather than any Joe Schmo they don't know. They'd rather help out local college students. So that's where our name came from. And that's how we started doing the work.
So Sam, can I circle back a little bit, because 100%. I mean you are the entrepreneur. You've got this, and I'm not going to knock this. You've got a landscaping business, but you're running it like a lot of people would with a startup. You've got a really cool website. You've got Yelp recommendations in there. You've got client testimonials. You've got a leadership team on your website, right? Founder, operations, marketing, client relations, team lead, construction lead, intern, even an intern, and you got a mascot, which Lulu is a cool mascot, right? Yeah. And so a lot of people just starting a small business, and we have a lot of those in our listening audience, they don't always know where to start or what to do. And, you said some great things. You start it by hiring really good people, maybe for the reasons you said, maybe because you're just really good and really smart and got it. And then you picked out this business and said, this is what I want to do, what I'm good at. And you're adding things. Like you said, we do concrete now, and you're adding things to that. So it seems to me like, you got it all together, and I'm going to call it like the millennial way of being an entrepreneur in the blue-collar business. Is that the way you look at it? I mean, are there other people you point to and go, this is how I figured this out?
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, it's great. You bring up some great points, because no one grows up and says, I want to be a landscaper when they grow up. Yet it's a multi-billion-dollar industry. And, you think about plumbing, electrical work, all this blue-collar work. They're all multi-billion-dollar industries. And to be honest, I try to be an honest guy. They're all run by dinosaurs. All these companies are run by a lot older men who don't really know what Twitter is, or how to run Instagram, or really know that most of business comes from Google now. So it provides a huge opportunity for someone who's young and lazy to come in and kind of clean up where others are making mistakes.
Well, that's really cool. I mean, I don't know if I'd call you lazy or not. Anybody who runs their own business is not lazy.
I'm just very self-critical
for the money.
Yeah.
but it's really cool. Yeah. You're picking on. A lot of people pick on millennials all the time. You're doing that self-picking on. Millennials are lazy. They all want to go to college and become software programmers and do jobs, and they want to be baristas. Let's pick on all those stereotypes that they get it. But here you are, digging in the ground, making beautiful landscaping and doing commercial and residential work, and you're expanding, and you even said you want to franchise this thing out. I mean, it seems like you're on the right path to get it done. And I think a lot of people could learn from your modern marketing techniques, like you said, using Google and having people, basically self-select you, as we like to call it, and booking appointments online. I mean, that's really cool. I guess those dinosaurs that are out there, I think of my landscaper, and yeah, you're right. He's in his 60s. He's got his lawnmower in his truck, and his advertising comes out of basically the little sign on the side of his truck that people see him cutting my lawn. Maybe they'll cut someone else's, right? But that seems to be the dinosaur way it's going. So it's really cool to see millennials coming after, going after this business, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And it's definitely undertapped.
You're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. My dad always used to tell me, and I believe he's correct, if you're good at something, you can make it in any business, any industry. And I have a client, I can't disclose information, but all that I can tell you is he was a landscaper, and what he did is he took his money and he purchased apartments. And when he passed away, maybe 15 years ago, he had an estate over $35 million. And he was just taking his pennies that he had and taking the money that he had as profit as a solo landscaper and taking that money and putting into real estate, obviously at a time that, in the 60s and 70s, that he was able to buying at the right time, obviously, and not selling. But the reality is it doesn't really matter what you're in. You can make a success at anything. If you're at the top of your class in anything, not by class, I don't mean school or any type of socioeconomic concept, but in terms of if you're top of your profession, you're going to make it no matter what you do. Okay, there's a way to make it.
100%.
That's one thing. What I find very interesting is you had very little, not too much background in landscaping. You decided to come into this concept, and you came up with this website, which I got to believe, and I don't know, I've never done any research or any analysis at all, but if I were to guess, I would say it's one of the areas, especially on the blue-collar side, that really hasn't taken off on the internet side. Now, you've got Angie's List that has contractors and those type of people, but when you take along these lines like landscaping, I don't know how many people are out there with the websites, but with the websites and taking on Instagram accounts and having schedule your appointments, there probably aren't that many. So you're probably still young in the game from that perspective. From franchising, I'm going to give you like a 2-minute spiel just because I am a franchise attorney, and so I have no little background.
Oh, no way.
Yes.
Yeah.
I write the franchise disclosure documents for people from big companies.
Oh, that's great.
So anyway, basically the quick analysis is you have to get registered before you can sell franchises with an FDD in 14 different states. There's about another 10 or 15 states that you have to pay a fee to be able to sell in those states. By the way, Maryland is a registration state, meaning you cannot sell a franchise within the state of Maryland unless you have an FDD that's registered, which means it's passed over by the Attorney General and reviews it and makes sure it's all okay. We'll have that on a different show and a different topic, but I just want to let you know about that franchising concept. Now, we've got about a minute or two left before we take a break. And so a question I have for you is, we've been talking all about landscaping, but, with the name Blue Collar Scholars, blue collar could mean a lot of different professions. Do you envision that this might expand beyond landscaping at some point in the future after you build out this network?
No, 100%. And that's why I had the name so general, because remember, the way I started, I basically asked people if they had any yard work. That's all they did. Wasn't very specific, and basically the way I grew my business was finding out what people needed. I really didn't go in and saying, "Oh, this is going to make $1 million. That's going to make $1 million." So I was very open-minded in terms of what the market really wanted. And then, yeah, 100%. It's if you get one thing to work, one type of sales approach to work, one type of customer service thing to work. My goal is to eventually apply it to different industries.
Well, and you just brought up another great point, another one, which is, you need to do what your customers want you to do. Right?
Exactly.
And
yeah.
So you don't need to go to college for that. You don't need to write a marketing paper on that. But you've learned another lesson, a second lesson that we talked about, the first lesson earlier, and that is, listen. You have to listen to your customers, and if they want something, it doesn't matter if you don't want to offer it. If they wanted to have clean pools, and everybody was saying, "Please clean my pool," you know that there's a business model there for you to follow, right? Because that's what your customers 100%. Are asking for. And the fact that you have, so what you have is this common sense, I say, and common sense and business sense that you can just feel things out, and you're coming up with the right thing. So that's part of the reason I believe it's not the only reason, but it's one of the reasons why you're succeeding. You have that business sense. You can figure these things out as they come up. So hey, you don't need to do a survey, but if you're getting a lot of people asking for something, that's a customer need. I'm listening to my customers. I'm listening to the feedback, and I'm going to move forward with that. We're going to be taking a break, and we're going to be back in about 2 minutes.
Your hometown station.
It's no secret that KHTS has the best midday talk show lineup around. If you've missed any of your favorites, no problem. KHTS has you covered. Podcasts for all the midday shows can be found right on our website, hometownstation.com. Whether you missed a show from 2 days, 2 weeks, 2 months, or 2 years ago, and you want to catch up, we got you covered. They're all right there. Plus extra podcasts too. That's hometownstation.com. hometownstation.com.
98.1 FM and AM 1220.
Who says nothing good happens after midnight? Denny's is best known for their breakfast served round the clock, like the Grand Slam. But you can enjoy breakfast, lunch, or dinner in a casual atmosphere 24/7. At Denny's, the lunch and dinner menu has a variety of appetizers, craveable burgers, salads, and entrees, along with the best desserts in town. Wherever you live in Santa Clarita, there's a Denny's close by. If you're pulling an all-nighter or don't feel like cooking, get into Denny's today. Good stuff is happening at Denny's.
Do you ever listen, but you're not really paying attention? Sort of like what you're doing to me right now. This is Alex Urbina, your advanced life coach specialist. One of the most frequent questions I hear is, what is a life coach? Well, tune in every Friday at noon to learn the value of having a coach and listen to a live coaching session on the radio. Right here on your hometown station, KHTS.
Aloha, friends. Go check out Honu Coffee, home of the best cold brew coffee. What makes their coffee special is how their organic coffee beans are infused with nitrogen to create a smooth and delicious cup of coffee. You'll also find traditional bold coffees and island-inspired signature drinks. They're the perfect place to catch up with friends or just relax with your favorite cup of joe. Honu Coffee on Lyons and Walnut in Newhall. Stop by and say aloha.
And now for your convenience, a second Honu location at 23502 Lyons Avenue between Peachland and Apple.
Little Eye Leaders is the newest preschool in the Santa Clarita Valley. At Little Eye Leaders, our outstanding teachers lead with intellect, perspective, and heart. That means our programs provide a warm, nurturing atmosphere to meet the unique needs of each child. We believe that play is a powerful form of learning for young children. That's why our kids have every opportunity to learn through the magic and excitement of play. Parents, schedule a tour today by calling 303-0400 or online at littleeyeleaders.org.
KHTS. Now FM, 98.1 FM and AM 1220. Your hometown station.
Did you see that left hand? He just nailed me. Welcome back. KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. You're listening to the Ask Brien radio show, AskBrien.com, with my co-host, Alex Grossman, and my special guest, Sam, all the way from Maryland. Are you guys there?
I am definitely here.
Well, if not, I certainly woke you up. Hope you're not sleeping. All right.
No one's sleeping after that, Brien. I'll tell you right now. That last jab you put out there was beautiful, and then boom. I love it.
The boxer just hit me in the left hook. I didn't see it.
The left hook. All
right. So again, Ask Brien, AskBrien. Alex, you had a question you wanted to ask Sam, so go ahead.
I did. So Sam, I love what you're doing here. I love the idea you're keeping your options open with blue-collar scholars. And, the landscaping business is one where, we're used to seeing people drive up in old trucks and just, getting there. I noticed that, and, again, from your website, because we're far away here in Los Angeles, but I noticed your guys dress really professionally. They look like they're coming down and doing business. What's the business ethic you have, and how have you been able to build this to have everybody really, be professional when they get out there? And does that help you when people set an appointment and then they see how your team works? Tell me about what your secret is there.
Yeah, 100%. There's this great book by Malcolm Gladwell called Blink. And the basic essence of the book is people make a decision on whether or not they like you within a half second. And it's just amazing how much image and how much image portrays a lot. And people's first impression of you really, really goes a long way. So it's really key, the first thing that you present to a client or a customer, it needs to be, it looks nice. Because remember, you don't want to be, well, at least my philosophy, you don't want to be the cheapest guy in the room. You want to be someone that you can trust, that you're going to be there, and that when that person hires the cheapest guy in the room, you're going to be the one to fix it.
So you never get a second chance to make a good first impression, and that first impression, in a way, that's a great, good for small businesses. You don't have to be the cheapest guy if you're the best guy, right? So do good work, put a good impression in, and people will hire you.
Oh, and it's so amazing what I found in the market is that there is just so much, there's a flood of cheap. There's a flood of people doing mediocre work, that people are just marketing too much and pushing really cheap products. And a lot of people are just fed up with that. Like, nobody wants to buy something 6 times.
Right.
And, well, it sounds good in the beginning because of the price point. But as a business owner, I've learned it's just way easier to not deal with the people who are trying to price beat you and find and kind of stand true to your values and say, listen, this is what we provide. This is our price. There's other people. If you don't like it, there's other people that you can shop around for.
So is your pricing model medium to high?
I would say, yes, we're not the cheapest. There's so many people, especially in the landscaping industry, blue-collar work, there are so many people who cut corners. I've had stories of property managers talk to me about their last landscaper. The IRS got in touch with them because they weren't paying their taxes. People don't have workman's comp, which automatically takes 10 to 15% of whatever you're giving your employees. And so we're a legitimate company now. There's plenty of people cutting corners. And then also the work. We just find so many people don't know how to trim bushes, aren't cutting grass properly, which is creating more weeds in their grass, aren't doing proper work, and we guarantee our work. And that's definitely, it's been a proven model that's working.
So let me ask you a question. On the internet, it's a little different. I think people are more price sensitive on the internet because you don't know who that person is, and so we don't know if you're the top quality guy that you say you are. You're just doing a crappy job and just charging a high price. So my question is, on the internet, do you find a difference there? Because the price elasticity or the fact of price sensitivity, I believe, is much higher on the internet, where somebody doesn't know who you are and they can compare 50 sites at once before they make a decision versus just seeing you in person and talking to you and going over the yard work or whatever situation, landscaping that you're doing. Do you find that people are more price sensitive that come through the internet?
No, it's great. It's great. That's a great question, and my answer is those 5-star reviews. You want to do a good job, and that goes back to the book Blink. First thing someone sees are your Yelp reviews or your Google reviews, and we're 5 stars across the board, and so people automatically know that we are a good company, and it's so we're not competing for price there. But yeah, that's a good point. I would imagine if it's a product type business, people are looking for the cheapest. But I do know from my experience, the service industry, people are looking for good service. They don't want to waste their time. There's so many stories I hear. This guy didn't show up. This guy did this. This guy did that. And so I believe there's a huge gap in the market from people providing quality service with good product and good customer service.
How long have you had your website?
So we just recently changed it. So we've done a massive growth this past just this past year we've had massive changes, and we've realized, we want to go. We're doing more commercial work than residential because these commercial properties, they need things done now and they need things done well, and we're a very responsive company. So that the website is new relatively.
Alex, you have a question?
So Sam, you put a really good point in there, and that is that you're in a service industry where people judge you by what you do, and you actually have to perform. I think that a lot of businesses today, especially, as Brien said, these internet businesses where people are just reselling goods or a lot of times it's just you pick up a good, you put it out there for sale, you resell it. Your customer service is essentially call the manufacturer or, hey, we'll see if we can warranty it through the manufacturer. That's one thing, and it seems easier. When you do service, everything you tell someone on the phone after they call you for a consultation or after they set one, I notice you have a calendaring app on your website that you can calendar an application. You have to perform. And those Yelp reviews come from what your work really is. So you kind of have to do it twice. So the website stands in two places. One is it tells people how good you are before they meet you, and then it tells them that other people have met you and they realize how good you really are. So I think that in this case, using those tools are great. Now, what about other social media tools? Have you explored those in a service industry? Have you used Twitter, or do you use Instagram or Facebook or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. People keep bringing that up, and I found that it has not been as successful as guerrilla marketing. Yes, Google is big, and then so I found that the most successful marketing is door-to-door flyers, and then word of mouth. Word of mouth is just which goes to the 5 stars on Google and Yelp and all that stuff. That is just the biggest, because then people go out of the way to call you and reach you, because they're looking for good service.
Have you tracked your website to find out how much revenue you think you're getting from the website without giving out any secret information?
Yeah, no, I have not. Really, we are becoming that kind of company. We're slowly becoming a data company because the way I started the company was hitting my head against the wall day and night and figuring out what works and then going with that. And now that we have other people doing the job I did in the beginning, which was everything, now that I have good people in place, now that is the name of the game, is to draw data and make everything a numbers board, figure out what's working, what's not.
How do you hire good people?
You steal them. You steal them. you got to steal them.
At least he's honest. I love that honesty.
Yeah. I'm going to review all this. Yeah, I'm being very honest. It's and I don't feel that bad for it because a lot of times people aren't treated right. That's what I found, especially in the blue collar industry. People are bosses are not people. One thing I hate hearing in the industry is CEOs or owners complaining about labor costs. And I really pride myself. I treat my employees so well. I pay them more than they've ever been paid at other companies. I provide food for them every week. I talk to them. I'm involved in their personal lives. I care about their families. And in turn, all their friends want to work for us. They have this loyalty they give us. And our production is just through the roof. So in the beginning, we really took a lot of our employees from this one company where this boss is not treating them well. And they saw that I was genuine and nice, and they came over here. But, yeah, to answer your question, it's called top grading. One of my best friends, Scott Nash, he really taught me top grading is hiring people based on their past success rate. So in stealing employees, that works very well because they're already employed by a good company. So you already know that they're doing well or somebody wants them. So it's really you hiring people based on their past successes.
Alex?
You're wise beyond your years, my friend. And I think your proven success there is because you work hard and you listen, and you said a couple things. People are looking at this and going, okay, blue collar scholar. Well, you've proven you're blue collar because you're working hard, getting your hands dirty and calluses to make it happen. You're a scholar because, look, the first thing you did is you referred to reading and books and taking advice from other people, which I think a lot of people start their own business. They think they know it all going in. They think that they have to do it all.
Yep.
And you've done two things that, having been a CEO of a company a few times over, large ones and small ones, successful and not so successful, I can tell you the three lessons that people learn the hardest is that you have to be able to delegate the work. You learn that one. The other one is you have to learn from others. You learn that one. And the third one is you have to constantly be saying, how do I make my business better? And you learn that one. So you ring all the bells for a successful entrepreneur, whether it's in landscaping or if you decided that you wanted to fly a rocket to the moon. I think you could do either.
Yeah, no, you hit every single one. That's perfect. And that's the biggest thing I see nowadays is people having this plan. They're going to do X, they're going to do Y. And really, it's first of all, everything's already been done. Someone has already built a billion-dollar company. So our job as entrepreneurs is to ask questions. How they did it. What did they do? What was different? What mistakes did they make? How did they become successful? So really, it's so simple. It sounds too easy. So that's all we really have to do is ask questions. How do you do it? And then we really have to let go of our ego and let other people in.
Very smart.
We're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM. Now, Alex, when you were talking about ring the bell, was that because the round was up? Because, I know that Rocky is the theme here. So I actually thought that maybe we had to take a break or something. I didn't realize we still got another 5 or 6 minutes when you said ring that bell. Or were you referring to that song?
I was ring my bell. There we go.
I don't want to get into that because my voice is more suited to making announcements of my co-host.
You're very disco-y, though, Brien. You're very disco-y today. And our guest today has no idea what disco is. He was born far past that era.
Well, that's because he didn't remember when you used to walk around in a white suit. Right. Miami Vice over here. So let's get back. So what do you think? How did you grow from 300,000 to $1 million going door to door?
In the beginning, I started with zero. I literally had nothing, and I knocked up. I had 30 no's. Finally, this great old man said yes, and it turned out to be $1,800 worth of work. I asked for half up front. I borrowed my girlfriend's car to get a chainsaw, $150. I rented a truck for $100, and I paid my friend $100 to help me. And we got the job done in a day, so I made $1,500 in one day. And I was like, what just happened? Like, I couldn't believe it. So I kept going door to door. But it's definitely, it's just, from where I got from zero to where we are now is really what we were last talking about. I asked for help. And it's not easy to do in today's world with all this social media and ego feeding and all that stuff. So really, lately what's really been working, I kind of shut off my social medias, and I really try to set off all my distractions, and I really ask for help, and I try to stay present with my team and build a culture to have other people, that we can all help each other out.
When you say ask for help, okay, that's like, hey, Alex, I'm starting a business. What do I do? Is it that kind of asking for help, or is it like...
Yeah. Hound them. Develop friendships with people who have multi-million-dollar... If you want to get a multi-million-dollar business, you develop friendships with people who have those businesses and hound them. You're like, how did you do
Come on,
it?
Brien, that's networking 101. Come on, that's networking 101. That's what we do.
Well, what if you don't know any friends that have been successful?
You go on LinkedIn. You start messaging people, man. You throw spaghetti against the wall. Now, this is just, I realize I thought this is a win all for everybody, but I'm an extrovert. I do that, and I
he
don't
told
know
us he
how...
was a lazy guy, Brian. He told us he was a lazy guy. This guy's working 100 hours a week here.
No, you guys should understand. Definitely. I'm a self-critic, and that might be the reason why we're doing well, because I'm so critical of what we do and how we can do better. But
you don't sound critical at all.
Well, yeah, because this is an hour talk. This isn't 24-hour life. But yeah, no, it's not an anxiety reducing activity I found growing a business very fast.
So we have 1 minute before we're going to take a break. I want you to tell us, give us a big failure that you had that has led to a success.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I didn't do well in school and I failed. I failed out of school. I was kind of a mess up in my early 20s and late teens, and it was really, really, really humble feeding. I just really put me down. I'm embarrassed to talk to people, people graduating school and getting jobs and all that stuff. So that really allowed me to really just whatever. I knock on doors if I had to, make an embarrassment of myself. I messed up probably 90% of the jobs I did in the beginning weren't that great of a job, but I kept going and I'd fix things. So really, failure is very important. That's a good question to ask. Failure is very important.
We're going to be right back. We're at KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM.
Genghis Khan Mongolian Barbecue and Chinese Buffet. Healthy vegetables and lean meats. A low-carb treat. Create your own bowls with our delicious meats and always fresh vegetables. Then, blend in your own secret sauce. Feast at the all-you-can-eat buffet and barbecue for the same low price. A local favorite for over 25 years, Genghis Khan is still located on Lyons Avenue just east of the I-5. Enter between the Chevron and Shell gas stations. Come and see us soon at Genghis Khan.
Hi, Santa Clarita. This is Rosemary with Beyond Harmony Med Spa with some great news about Kurt Stinson. Now, why am I telling you about a plumber? When I had a horrible plumbing situation at my house, Thanksgiving morning, house full of people, of course I called Kirk. He rushed right over, took care of our problem. The prices were so reasonable, I couldn't even believe that I was paying that on Thanksgiving Day. If you need a plumber, Kirk Stinson is the guy to call.
Plumbing by Kirk, 263-6519, or visit plumbingbykirk.com.
We all know sometimes people lose their way. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, the Way Out Recovery SCV may have the answers you've been waiting for. The Way Out is the premier intensive outpatient treatment center serving Santa Clarita. Asking for help is the first step. Call The Way Out today, 661-296-4444. That's 296-4444 for a private free assessment. The Way Out is an accredited, affordable outpatient program that accepts most insurance. Call us at 661-296-4444 or check us out online at thewayoutrecoveryscv.com. Quit battling with yourself. Ask The Way Out for help today.
Santa Clarita's hometown station. Hometown station.
KHTS AM 1220 and the new 98.1 FM.
Welcome back. We're listening to KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM with my co-host Alex Grossman. Alex, are you there?
Getting a little there wild there, Brian. A little wild towards the end of the year this year.
Well, you know what happens when the mice are away. Anyway, so and my great guest, Sam from Blue Collar Scholars.net.
What's up, guys?
How you doing, man? Been a great
Another
guest.
day.
Another day, another $1.20.
Yeah.
So,
you go.
Are you still doing sales today? Yourself,
I
or
really, Yeah, it's a great question. I'm really, really trying to delegate everything as much as possible. So when it's a key client and a referral client, I show up. But if it's anything new, I have someone else doing the sales.
And have you seen a sales drop now that you're not doing it specifically yourself?
This is crazy, and this is what goes on to how much I know. My new sales guy, who he speaks English but not perfectly. He is doing better than I was doing, or the same. His numbers are either the same or better than mine in terms of closing deals. It's amazing. And he's never had sales experience in his life before.
That's why you hire people with talent, no matter even if that talent is native, and he'll be incredible as he goes forward, right? Going over time.
But he didn't know because this is the first sales job. So how would he know that he had the talent?
Yeah.
It depends on how good a manager you are and who you hire, right?
Yeah.
Or he could say that it was based on the fact that he trained him so well, he trained him to sell even better.
Alex is an amazing person. He's just absolutely amazing. He does so much of our work. He manages.
I didn't even know Alex was working there, but okay.
Well, I had to have a job somewhere. Come on.
Oh yeah. There's 2 Alexes. Yep. So really, I think it's because our company looks bigger than it is in this local area. When one, the person they're in communication with is the office manager, and then 2, they have a team lead sent out to their property, and our foreman Alex really knows his stuff. He points out what's going on in the yard, so I feel like it makes them think that we're really, a serious company, which is good.
You mentioned that you don't do much on social media or with Google. So how are you getting people to the website that don't know you?
So that's all right. So my best friend has a $200 million business, and he's really one of the big things. I learned so much from him. He owns Mom's Organic Market, and he has no marketing department. When I say no marketing department, he has no marketing department. And all he does is just make sure the quality of his products are the best there are, and the customer experience is the best it can be. And as a result, word of mouth spreads, and people become your salesmen. So when people love our service and they give 5-star reviews online everywhere, you don't have to do much advertising because Google automatically brings up the companies that are doing very well, and Yelp too.
Well, it doesn't mean he doesn't have a marketing department. He's just doing organic marketing, because that's all that marketing is basically being able to do the right thing and to offer the right customer service from the beginning. So he's doing it organically and doing it smart without paying for it. Now, I noticed that you do have in your leadership, you do have someone named Gretchen who's doing marketing. I think she'd be pretty upset if you said you don't need marketing.
No, that was for the organic food company.
Yeah.
His friend.
Yeah, so that's for my friend's company, which I.
But you said you don't need marketing though either, right?
No. Well, no, you need Well, I started out with marketing. I went door to door, right? So I had. Advertising is still a big part of our company. It's not. We're slowly trickling down from it though. But and that's the other thing. It's because so what I found, there's this guy I watch, Darren Hardy, and he's really, Warren Buffett does run, all these guys, they really, their secret to success is focus. And so what I've done myself is I've taken myself off of social media, and man, because I was addicted to social media, and I'm sure a lot of millennials are, and a lot of people are nowadays. We're glued to our phone, and I took myself off social media. It was tough, but not getting wrapped up in the whole. And I have another thing with advertising, because you see so many advertisements a day. It's just you're 1 out of 100. You know what I mean? So I really care about doing customer experience and referrals. I really think that's the best way to go.
Well, how do you get? Okay, so that's probably a slower process, though, correct? So, for instance, that's probably why your revenue was $20,000 the first year and went up to $100,000, because until you get that first $20,000 of sales, you're not going to have anybody to put you on Yelp. You're not going to have anyone on there, and your landscaping company.
Exactly.
How is anyone to know who you are, right?
Exactly. Yeah, advertising is very key in the beginning, I believe.
Did you do any advertising in the beginning, or was it all canvassing?
No, it was all canvassing, and then I put signs up saying we do yard work with 3 exclamation points, and then weeding, mowing, cleanups. And we got tens of thousands of dollars from the signs. Definitely, yeah. That helped create our $100,000 a year second year.
Well, signs is advertising. There's no question about it. You just have to get. How did you get people to put the signs up on their lawn?
No, we didn't put them on lawns. We put them on interstate passings. So whenever you're at a red light coming out of the interstate, I put them where the most car traffic was.
Was this billboard advertising, or you just stuck them in the ground like an election?
Yeah,
more wild posting, right? More wild posting. Put a sign up where you can find a spot, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
I
will tell you that's still very, very popular in a lot of ways for local advertising.
We got to wrap up, guys.
Wild postings are great.
Yeah, 100%.
So what's the website again, Sam?
Say that again?
It's bluecollarscholars.net.
Yes, sir.
And I'm Sam.
And I am Sam, yeah.
All right, got to wrap it up, guys. You're listening to Ask Brien, AskBrien.com on KHTS 1220 and 98.1 FM with my co-host, Alex Grossman.